Good afternoon. Today we'll be talking about something a little bit different. It's funny. Once again, I was planning on doing more in my review of Peace, Prosperity, and the Coming Holocaust by Dave Hunt. But, the Bible talks about a man makes his plans, but God directs his steps. So God really put on my spirit that there are words that we need to remove from our vocabulary, and I'm going to go into that and as far as why I believe we need to. Firstly, um, all the words that you're going to hear today are words that are used to keep the user of the words from facing truths they don't want to face. If we are to become the people God created us to be, we have to unlearn these words. First one, racism. Why? Well, racism is oppressing one group to make another look better. Words aren't in themselves oppressing. They are hurtful, but acts of violence oppress. Words don't. Why do we get rid of this term? We say and do hurtful things out of anger all the time. Apologizing and making things right is an act of maturity. There are far less racist people than those who are labeled racist. And I believe that's a very detrimental term because people use it way too loosely. Number two, sexist. Sexist is prejudice or discrimination based on gender. Now, Merriam-Webster says especially against women. I left that out because there are. I'm finding as I'm studying there are as many, if not more, sexist attitudes towards men than there are towards women. We just don't see it um, because it doesn't fit the narrative. Um, we'll go into that here in a little bit. Misogyny, hatred of or prejudice against women. Misandry is a hatred of men. Mansplain, I hate this word. Because just from the nature of it, it's condescending towards men. If I'm not a violent person, but if a woman ever said that I'm mansplaining, I would have to fight the urge to slap her. That's just it's just not cool. Nobody would want to hear. No one would want to hear woman splain. So you shouldn't say mansplain. But the definition is to explain something to a woman in a condescending way that assumes she has no knowledge about the topic. Now, I lump these four together because this is an area that has had the most damage done. Truths like 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women is falsely claimed as sexist when it is true. Let's see what courts in men versus women cases are not kind to men, nor are churches, workplaces, or government institutions. But rather than labeling them sexist, misogynist, misandrist, learning to deal with issues head on is the most effective way to resolve an issue. Using power plays sheltered in bias only makes the problem worse. The offended parties dealing with the issue head on solves the issue. Xenophobe. Fear of what is foreign and people of foreign origin. Transphobic. Showing discrimination or fear of transgender people. Homophobic. Discrimination against or fear of gay people. These three are ridiculous classifications. I don't know of anyone who is afraid of foreign people, gays, or trans people. Holding to a moral stance while treating people with respect is a strength, not a phobia. Every person has rules and expectations of everyone coming into their home. Those same rules and expectations should also apply for those entering our country. See, xenophobia, I've only heard ever used towards President Trump, just because I remember when he said that when he was the first one to take action against the coronavirus and shutting things down, and when he called it a link from a lab in China. They were calling him xenophobe, but it was true. What he said about that was true, and he doesn't have fear of foreign people. I mean, I don't know of anybody who has a fear of foreign people, but I'm sure people even say that towards him with the border crisis. But the deal with that is you wouldn't want anybody coming into your home unwanted or not authorized. So if we're protecting our country, we have to use the same expectations in protecting our country that we do in protecting our home. Let's see. Bigot. I hate this word, but I've been called this being a Christian, but it's a word I think that should be banned. Is a person who is devoted to his or her opinions and prejudices. Intolerant is unable or unwilling to endure, unwilling to grant equal freedom of expression, especially in religious matters, unwilling to grant or share social, political, or professional rights. The best test of whether a person is intolerant is if somebody did the same behavior we did to them, how would we react? So, actually, back up. Okay, so if you're in a situation and you mistreat somebody and you expect them to give you grace, but yet if they treat you that way, how would you react? If your reaction is different, then your expectation is intolerant, because the same expectation should apply. If you expect them to give you grace, you should also give them grace. If we wouldn't like them to treat us disrespectfully, what makes us think they want to be treated disrespectfully? Tolerance, we want to be, just say, tolerance is learning to treat others the way we want to be treated. Expecting others to treat us better than we treat them is entitlement. Republican and Democrat. Everyone has good ideas as to what can be done to better how everyone is treated. What separates the great from the good is a willingness to walk out what we say we believe. It's easy to talk, but hard to live it. And it goes back to there's a song by Petra. Sometimes God's children should be seen and not heard. So it's easy to talk about, oh, these are issues that we need to change, but it's hard to get out there, get your feet wet, and go about and do it. Really, Republican and Democrat should be tossed away because of that. Because what happens with that, and but I will elaborate a little bit more. What happens with that is when a person says, "Oh, I'm a Democrat," or I'm a Republican, people that are a different party affiliation automatically now think that they're not as smart a people. That is not true. That's a foolish way of thinking because most of my friends, I mean, I'm a conservative. I've been a Republican really ever since I was a kid. Um, just I mean, the conservative viewpoint makes a whole lot more sense. But with that being said, most of my friends have a background in more of a background in being as a Democrat. Now, as our relationship grew, we both have come towards the middle. My two closest friends, my best friend was had a foundation and as a Democrat too, but as we began to talk, I saw his point of view, he saw mine, and we became best friends. Um, so it so putting aside all labels and all stereotypes is crucial for any relationship to grow. Um, you're not going to have relationships that are free of differences. We're all created to be a little bit different, but differences is better. If God wanted us all to think the same, He would have made us all robots, and I don't want to be a robot. That's it's just not good. But a term that I have always that I've used for years that I think should be eliminated as well, which my sister mentioned it last night when we talked, is it is what it is. It is what it is a defeated attitude. I've said it for years about injustices that happen that we seemingly can't do anything about. Then when the injustice threatens to overtake you, you realize that the injustice dealt with and that you felt defeated about is either going to bow or you will die trying to make it bow. No injustice we face is okay that we go through it. Yes, it makes us stronger if we don't play the victim, but we learn to stand and fight for what we believe in. Not accepting defeat is key with this. We have to get to the point where we say, just as in the song "Fight" by Fighter, "Nice Guy." It says, "No more Mr. Nice Guy. Oh, can't you see? No more Mr. Clean. Oh, you can take it from me. No more Mr. Doormat. Oh, you can't wipe your sin on me." Now, we can't keep our hands clean as far as we try to be try to be nice about it. The problem will keep attacking and keep attacking and keep attacking until we stand up to it, and standing up to it makes it bow because if you guys remember from my talk about bullying not years ago, it does seem like years because that's one of my earlier posts, but it bullies don't back down until you as the one being bullied show you're not going to back down. No, there are effective ways to do that. Violence is not the way to do it. What happens with violence, and you have also heard me say this probably several times in my time of doing this podcast. Violence only begets more violence. Because it does not matter whether I get the upper hand or you get the upper hand. If one person decides to get their homies involved as well, then the issue gets worse and worse and worse, and until somebody is seriously injured or dead, and that is not a productive way of doing things. Um, so I told a friend of mine at work a couple weeks ago that it's mentally staying a step ahead of of the people that you view at that time as your opposition is okay. What are they? Um, what are they good at? What kind of game do they want to play? And if you play that game, you're going to lose because obviously they want to play that game because they are better at it. But you don't let them play. You don't play that game. You're just like, okay, my strength is this. We're going to make them play it this way. If they don't, they'll. I mean, they'll back off. They'll either back off or test you. You just got to keep staying ahead, like as long as it takes for them to back off. But the whole thing is we can't accept defeat in issues that we believe in. The phrase "it is what it is" definitely has got to go. It it just shows like it shows like if you walk around defeated, life will just only get worse. But yeah, that's really about it as far as this week goes. If you guys think there are words that need to be eliminated from the English language, feel free to comment, like, subscribe if you want. And you guys be blessed. Have a good week, and I'll talk to you next week about whatever it is that God puts on my heart to talk about.